You know, in every great story, in any conflict really, there's always that one moment, that breaking point where everything flips on its head. Well, we are about to dive deep into one of the best examples I've ever seen. It's a masterclass in how to win a fight without ever raising your voice.
Okay, so that's the final line of the scene. A total mic drop. It's a complete declaration of victory. But the real question, the one we're here to answer, is how in the world did we get to this point? How did we start with one character in total control and end with him begging and the other one calling all the shots? Let's break it down.
All right, first up, let's set the scene. Picture this, a dimly lit apartment. It's raining outside, you can see it on the windows, and the air inside is just thick with tension. You can feel it. And you've got Elias standing and posing, and Maya sitting down. Just that visual alone tells you who's supposed to be in charge, right? He's literally looking down on her. The stage is set for a confrontation that he thinks he's already won.
And this is the core of the whole conflict. Their styles are complete opposites. Elias is like a brick wall. He uses his physical presence, his calmness, this whole vibe of order and rules to dominate. But Maya? Ooh, she's more like a surgeon. She uses words, and more importantly, she uses what looks like vulnerability as her weapon. It's brute force versus precision.
So Elias fires the first shot. And notice how he does it. It's so calm, so factual. I checked, you moved. He's not yelling, he's establishing himself as the one with all the facts, the one who's in charge. He's trying to make this a fight about rules and spreadsheets, a fight he knows he can win. But here's the thing, Maya has zero intention of playing his game, and this is where we see the very first crack in his control.
See what she did there? So brilliant. She doesn't deny moving the money. She doesn't argue the facts at all. Instead, she completely changes the battlefield. She makes it about their relationship, about trust, about emotion. She just sidestepped his attack and turned herself from the rule breaker into the hurt partner. And you can almost see the gears turning in Elias's head. He sees what she's doing and he tries to pull it back. He's basically saying, no, this isn't about feelings, this is about the rules. He's desperately trying to drag the conversation back to his comfort zone, order versus chaos.
But it's already too late. Maya found a weakness, a little crack in his armor, and now she's gonna drive a truck through it. This is where things really heat up. And boom, there it is. That's the kill shot. She goes from defending herself to a full-on personal attack, right at his biggest insecurity. For a guy like Elias, who builds his entire identity on being the smartest guy in the room, this is devastating. This isn't about the money anymore. Now it's about everything. And his reaction says it all. Just one word. For a guy who prides himself on being calm and in control, shouting enough is a huge, huge loss. That's the first real signal that her strategy is working perfectly. He's officially lost his cool.
And the contrast here is just incredible, isn't it? He yells and she whispers. It's so powerful. She's not just reacting to his anger, she's narrating it back to him, almost mocking him with it. At this point, she's not just in the fight, she's controlling his emotions like a puppeteer.
And that brings us to this tactic, which we can call an emotional gambit. You know that single tier the script mentions? Yeah, that's not weakness. That is a weapon. It is perfectly designed to make Elias feel like the bad guy, to make him feel like a bully. She is literally making him the villain of the story, and he's actually starting to buy it.
So Maya has completely seized emotional control of the room. And now she moves in for the final blow, using what might be the most underrated weapon of all. This line is it's checkmate. She takes the one thing he wants more than anything, control, and shows him the horrible price he'll pay for it, being totally alone. She's not just leaving him, she's leaving him with his so-called prize, forcing him to realize it's worthless without her. And then you get this. The script actually points out that his voice cracks when he says it. Think about that. That tiny detail is everything. The man who started this whole thing with a voice of pure, cold authority is now audibly, physically breaking. The power hasn't just shifted, it's shattered. And then she uses silence. She stops, she turns away, and for 5 seconds, nothing. Now, 5 seconds doesn't sound like a long time, but in a scene like this, it is an absolute eternity. And that silence isn't passive. It is an active, crushing weight that she is putting on him, just waiting for him to break. And he breaks. That one word, please. That's the white flag. That is total surrender. The man who was the interrogator at the beginning of the scene is now begging. He's begging the person he was trying to control just not to leave him. It's a complete 180.
So, the reversal is complete. It's done. But how exactly did she pull it off? Let's just do a quick recap of her 4-step master plan.
Okay, so first, she exposed his ego. She didn't fight about the money, she made it about his intelligence. Second, she weaponized her own emotion, using her hurt to make him feel like the villain. Third, she took control of the silence, using it to apply maximum pressure. And finally, she forced his surrender, making him beg for the one thing she wanted to give him all along, a conversation.
And that brings us right back to the beginning, to that first line we heard. But it hits different now, doesn't it? After seeing her take him apart piece by piece, that line doesn't feel like a shocking twist. It feels earned. It feels inevitable. So I guess it leaves us with this question to think about. In a battle of wills, where does real power come from? Is it from being the most imposing, the one with all the rules and order? Or is it about having that sharp, surgical understanding of what makes another person tick? I think this scene makes a pretty strong case that real control isn't about building walls. It's about knowing exactly where to find the cracks.